The opinions shared on the following podcast are the host's own. They may not reflect the stance of their employers, past, present, nor future. And now, please enjoy this podcast, and I want to speak to your manager.
You are listening to the Geeks and Gripes Podcast with Bex, Rich, and Mike. And now, please enjoy this podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Mike and you are listening to the always socially distanced podcast, the Geeks and Gripes Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere. We're known as Geeks and Gripes, no abbreviation. We also are looking for Patreons. We are on Patreon as Geeks and Gripes, again, no abbreviation. Once we start having Patreons, we will find a way to make exclusive content for everyone. Anyway, let's get started. I am here with Dex and Rich.
Welcome back! Welcome back. 20 points if anybody knows where that's from. If you do, you're old. Or you grew up watching Nick at Night. One of the two.
Okay, I grew up watching Nick at Night. Which show was that?
Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Technically one of the first things John Travolta was ever in. Vinny Barbarino. Yes, we're showing our ages.
I didn't watch much of that. I stayed on the I Love Lucy's and anything maybe that played after or before I Love Lucy.
Oh yeah, no, I saw quite a lot of old school shows. Quite a lot.
I actually watched some of the Alfred Hitchcock stuff.
Oh yeah, that was great. Well,
I never watched Nick at Night, like, ever.
Really?
I don't know. It was, yeah.
It was great, man. I loved it. I loved a lot of the old series. Like the Munsters.
Oh yeah, I watched
Love
that
Lucy.
one. I watched the Monsters quite often. They had a cool intro.
Oh yeah. Beverly Hillbillies.
I did watch the Monsters. But I would watch that during the day, like in just random channels, I guess.
Oh no, yeah, there were always channels like they had just like old TV shows.
So, this is a spontaneous topic, but here's the gist: if your show ever appears on Nick at Night, it's old.
Yeah, pretty much. Hell, we're getting to that point where like stuff we grew up with in the '90s is showing up on like as vintage. It's like, oh crap, I feel old. I feel really old.
So,
but if we really want to make people feel old, hey guys, I just want to let everybody know, the 1990s, yeah, they were almost 30 years ago. Or 30 years ago, actually.
Yep.
Yes, 30 years ago. Feel old yet? I'm glad I could do this to you.
So
I would definitely go back on a heartbeat, though. But yeah, we can proceed.
To be honest, I embarrassingly had to go through our files to remember which episode this is, and this is actually episode 11.
11, yeah.
Double hockey sticks.
Yep, double hockey sticks. And since we're in that motif about HE double hockey sticks, we decided to pick PlayStation and Sony. Coincidence? I think not.
Yes, this episode we are actually almost journalists, and we are biased enough to be a modern journalist nowadays. So, but at the same time, we do want to be fair, whatever that means, to the opposing console.
Honestly, we're more unbiased than some journalists nowadays. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not gonna read what I was reading, but I was reading something from the Associated Press. And it was like stating the facts, fact 1, fact 2, fact 3, and then it was like, yeah, but we feel that the way this was done was bad. It's like, wait. I thought you were the Associated Press.
Yeah, the Associated Press ain't press no more. As soon as they start saying feel, it's like, bro, no. Feel goes in an opinion piece.
Yep.
So we're giving Sony's a chance today. I saw when they announced the PS5. It kind of reminds me not exactly of the Stormtroopers, but the one that rode the speeders.
Yeah. Basically, like I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the announcement for the PlayStation 5, the look, it looks sexy. It looks great. I actually love it. Then all the memes came out, and the memes were just made the design even better. It just was just more hilarious.
So before talking about games, let's talk about hardware. They are claiming that they have better hardware than their competitors, the SEX. The Xbox One X.
No, that's kind of what Microsoft's going for. Looking sexy.
And
at least spec-wise.
And they're seemingly boasting about their super solid state drive or ultra solid state drive. One thing that I noticed was that it's quite larger than PS4, and it might even rival the old PS3 in size.
Oh no, yeah, it's a big boy.
They're stating that Sony has been plagued by overheating, and they are really, really trying to come up with a better ventilated hardware so it doesn't happen. Now, before we continue, I have a story about overheating consoles. So, I had a PS3. I had the big one, the one that came with Metal Gear Solid 4. That's probably the first and last Metal Gear Solid I'll ever play. Not because it's bad, it's because I am bad at it. I died before the title showed up. I was like, oh, this is like an intro. Poof, dead. Snake. It's not even a title. And I actually had the overheat thingy happen to me. And yes, I was actually one of the people that watched a YouTube video. Oh no! Unscientific YouTube video! But it at least taught me how to rip it open. And I bought a heat gun just to reheat the GPU and CPU chips and resolder them back to the motherboard.
Damn, son.
Oh, you're kidding. Really?
Yes. And it worked for a while.
It worked for a little bit.
Well, the first time it lasted about 6 months. Then the second time about 4. Then it kept fixing it, but then it got to a point where it just stopped working. But yes, the PS3 overheated to the point where the little pins on the GPUs and CPUs would melt and lose the grip on their socket.
Damn.
Wow.
So basically, I did that, and it's like, where can I heat this thing at 750 degrees Fahrenheit and not set my house on fire? So the cooking stove was it. And
I mean, technically, if you were back in Puerto Rico, you could just put it on the tiles. Those tiles back home were designed to hold a lot of heat.
Yeah, but I didn't want to risk it. I'm stupid like that. So it worked.
I always wait for the console. Like the first version of every console has been like a disaster across the board. So, like I remember my brother did get the Xbox Ring of Death. My Xbox was fine, but I bought it much later.
So yeah, that's a funny side story. So in terms of games, and we might enter this topic later on this episode, they have a lot of exclusive games.
Yeah, well, like going back real quick to the hardware, yeah, like they boast that it's faster, but not really. It has like a couple of asterisks there. It is faster with first party games, and usually their first party games. Like that's where it's actually supposed to be faster. Honestly, I'm one of those guys that like Rich said, I'm gonna wait until at least
Yep.
it comes out and people get the bugs out and all the tests and all the like hardware specs and everything gets tested, and then I'll decide. Though going into the games, I saw a lot of the games from like the showcase, and they were interesting, but I mean, like Xbox still, yeah.
Can
Xbox,
you define that interesting? Come on, like I considered it super boring. Like I could only remember maybe 2 names.
Like
so what do you call interesting?
Interesting in the fact that, you know, they showed more like actual gameplay, because that is something I criticized a bit from when I saw the Microsoft reveals. Sony actually showed more gameplay footage, but honestly, it wasn't anything that got me really excited. And I've already stated previously that I would only buy the system if they brought out certain games, which I know they're not going to. So, you know,
well, Ratchet and Clank is coming back. So
no, Ratchet and Clank looks great, and honestly, again, that's one of the hardware showcases in quote unquote, because like the shifting through dimension, like with the dimensional pockets to go from one point to the other, is so seamless. And that's because it's a first-party game and it runs better. And honestly, it looks good. It looks real good. But Ratchet and Clank wasn't one of the series that I was super into. Like, I liked it. I liked the whole weapon system and all that. But I kind of stopped playing it after a while. Again, Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper, those are the games that if, you know, they announce them, it's like, okay, well, I'm getting a PlayStation 5. But, you know, jumping from there to exclusives... yeah, as Mike was saying, they announced a couple of exclusives, but they're also announcing and boasting something that has been a little controversial, which is console exclusive content in certain games. And that's kind of where we're going with today's episode, kind of like going over that and, you know, giving our 2 cents or quarters as to how that is going to impact them, or if it's something that, you know, maybe is needed nowadays. Maybe we need to go back to this.
And this is not new. Like if you take Starlink for instance, the Starlink in Switch was completely different experience than playing in any other console. So it's not a brand new concept, and it's been done before.
Oh yeah. Like it's been done before, but like in this one, it's a bit weird because, like, for example, like the major example that came up right now that has quite a couple knickers in a twist is the new Avengers game. Like, there's a Marvel's Avengers game, and Sony has exclusive rights to the Spider-Man character in that game. Like, if you want to play a Spider-Man, which, you know, a lot of people like him, you have to get the PlayStation exclusive one. It's, you know, it's not something like, oh, you know, it'll come out. No, like, they just have it. It's theirs.
You got to admit that Sony, like Microsoft may have had the better showing in terms of gaming. Sony has some killer contract negotiators with their team.
No, definitely. But the thing between the two consoles is that, honestly, Sony, this is a defense mechanism, in my opinion. Again, this is all opinion based. In my opinion, this is a defense mechanism because Xbox and Microsoft, they are killing them with the, like, Game Pass. The Game Pass is Microsoft's biggest weapon right now. And, you know, Sony, even though the PlayStation Network and all that, the PSN Network is good, it's not on par with the Game Pass, with Microsoft's Game Pass. So now they're just kind of changing strategies, in my opinion, and doing something that, while it may piss people off, like you said, it's a smart negotiation. You get exclusive content, and if people want that exclusive content, they have to go with your console.
But this is just going to open the door to, I think it was a Mortal Kombat that did that depending on which console you got it, it would have a very specific character for that console.
Oh no, that was Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
It had It had
That
Darth
Link.
Vader.
Link.
No, yeah, it had Link for Nintendo. It had Darth Vader for PlayStation, and it had Yoda for Xbox, or vice versa, one of those two.
And you know, like, it's been done before. Where I kind of start drawing a different line is like going back to my Starlink example. Starlink has a whole different story arc that is not playable in any other console. Like the whole Star Fox section, none of that appears in any other console. And that's where I start drawing like a different line on the sand. Like, if it's okay, you have a different character, that's fine. But when the whole story of the game, like, there's gonna be a whole section of the story, maybe a couple of hours long, that is gonna be blocked off unless you go to one console, that's when it starts getting a little bit annoying. Because, you know, like, there's a lot of very, I don't know if I want to call it like ethic dilemmas there. Like, you know, like, I have a Switch. I could play that story, but if I don't buy a PlayStation and they have one of the games I really want to play a story arc of, and you know, it's just getting messy. I don't like that idea. The same way I originally didn't like the whole like microtransactions or game passes or whatever. Like, it's season passes. What I meant. That's just open new doors.
Microtransactions are quite literally crafted by Satan's personal lawyers, and nah, like, I hate microtransactions. Like, I get it for free games to an extent, but for, like, you know, $60 or, as they've been discussing lately, $70 games, no, man, it should be, hey, I'm paying you $70, everything should be available. Will it take longer for me to get? Do I need to go through the game multiple times? Do I need to do specific things? Yes, please, let's go back to that. There was nothing sweeter than you know, going through a challenge to get a character, to get a skin, to get a level back in the day.
What really has been bothering me lately is the whole like season pass thing. If you want a full game nowadays, is never less than $100. You know, it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be $59.99 plus another $49.99 to get like the season pass and get all the exclusive content like the DLC. That is just like, to me, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, games are $100 if you want the full game nowadays, and that's just stupid. So what I think this is opening the door to is that you're gonna get like exclusive DLC, and depending on the system, it's gonna vary what you're gonna get from your season passes and stuff like that. And I think that's a dangerous door to open.
Well, they're opening it, and they're not just opening; they're kicking it open. I mean, the problem here is like Pokemon. I bought the DLC, and like within 5 hours, I did absolutely everything and had the full Pokédex.
But
okay,
you had a head start. Come on, you had a head start on that one.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's, you know, can that even be considered? Well, technically, it is how a DLC is supposed to be. A DLC is not supposed to be a new game. A DLC is supposed to be extra content for a game. Should it be longer? Probably, yeah. Like, honestly, if you're gonna do DLC and charging a specific amount, like if you're gonna do a DLC and charging $30 for it, that should give you at least 12 more hours of gameplay.
And to be fair,
least.
the Pokemon one, this is just the first half, right? You pay the $30, and is it $30? It's $30, right? The Pokemon expansion.
I forgot. I got it for free.
So this is just half of it. So if Mike, you spent 5 hours and you literally had a couple of like 100 of the Pokemon already that you had in your bank, you know, like, if it still took you 5 hours and the other island takes you 5 hours, you know, it's a 10-hour $30 investment. It's not terrible. But now it's getting to the point where like fighting games won't bring 6 characters because it's gonna be $40 DLC or $50 DLC to get those 5 characters, and then they're gonna do, oh, let's do Season Pass 2. It's 5 more characters, and the games are starting to become like some ridiculous price if you want the whole thing, especially if you buy in later. Like if you want to go into like I bought the one of the Dragon Ball games on sale the other day. Like if I wanted all of the characters, I had to get 2 season passes. And that's just ridiculous. I paid maybe $15 for one game, and then it's like 2 season passes of $40. It's like stupid.
Oh, sweet summer child, you've never played Street Fighter
And
nowadays,
Smash,
have
I'm
you?
looking at you. The first character in the second
Yeah.
season pass was exactly the one I said on the previous episode. The ARMS character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep. I saw it.
Yep.
But honestly, like that annoys the hell out of me with fighting games, because like we can harken back to the days where here's if you wanted like extra like more characters, it would be like a whole new game. And I understand it's like but you get the game, and then you don't have to spend money on a whole other game. You just get the season pass or whatever. It's like, yeah, but they add up. If you're gonna tell me, okay, buy the season pass, and it is for until we make another game, like just flat out. If you spend $40 on a season pass, it'll be for the rest of the game's life. Every time we make a new character, you will get it. I'm like, okay, because if the game's gonna last a couple years, that's definitely a couple characters. That's 8 characters or more. It's like, okay, fine. But season pass $30-$40 for 5 characters, and next season is the same thing for 5 more characters. Nah, I'm good.
So going back to like the PlayStation games, something that I really noted, and I never ever thought I would say this, is that I felt almost like if I was watching like a Nintendo list of games, like the target audience was significantly changed. At least that's what I noted. My opinion, my first opinion is like, what was the Bug Snacks game or whatever it's called? Like that was a big seller, and I'm like, what is happening? This is like what Pikmin meets like Pokemon. I don't even understand what's happening. Like the target audience is totally different. Like they went away from like all the shooters and the really artistic RPGs, and they were showing really weird stuff.
Oh, like they're trying to expand their horizons, and like honestly, I don't mind that. I don't mind them switching it up. I don't mind them like trying to get new demographics in. I like, fine, do it. What I don't like is, this game that's coming up looks to be really popular. Looks to be like it's gonna sell a lot. Hey, here's a crap ton of money. Give us the exclusive rights to that game for a year. Nobody else gets it for a year. What? And and the money's too good to say no. And yeah, this is me being still bitter about Final Fantasy VII Remake coming exclusively to PlayStation for the first year, or however long it is.
Fantasy VII has many more issues than that one, but yeah, we can.
Yeah, no, but like that's my main concern. It's like, okay, so you're telling me they just gave you a bunch of money, and you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be exclusive for a year. No. You want to give them exclusive stuff? Give them other exclusive stuff. Give them exclusive missions. I don't know, but don't be like, oh yeah, like Xbox, PC. Yeah, sit down for a while.
You don't get your Tifa fix.
Yeah, exactly. You want best waifu? No, you don't get best waifu.
I would actually challenge that. I prefer to wait a year than to never get missions because they're PlayStation exclusive.
Like, I don't know. Like, if you can enjoy the game to it. Like, if you can enjoy the game completely, and then, you know, the exclusive quote-unquote stuff is just, you know, like a little dressing on top, I prefer the game, to be honest.
The game up front, like,
you know,
I don't mind waiting a year for a game. You know, like, if I'm gonna get everything, well, yeah, sure, you wait. You can play other stuff. I would be really pissed off if there's some very specific content that is console exclusive.
No, yeah, but that's a whole other thing. Like, I'm not saying like something game breaking, something like story breaking that you would hide behind a console. I'm saying, like, going back to Soul Calibur, a character, you know, like a fighting character. It won't make or break the game. It's just like, oh, hey, I got Yoda because I'm playing this console. I got Link because I'm playing this console. It's pretty cool. You know, have like or like an item. You know, like an item whose stats are exactly the same throughout all consoles, but just the visuals of the item are different. Like a sword, and it's like, oh, if you're playing it on Nintendo, it's the Master Sword. If you're playing it on PlayStation, it's I don't know, like Jak and Daxter's like wrench. I mean, Ratchet and Clank's
I think
wrench.
that's excellent.
You're
like
playing it.
I 100% agree with that. Give something that is just differently visually, but it's same content to all of them, or you could give them like a specific costume, like you can dress somebody differently. I don't mind that. You know?
Yeah, like you know, give Tifa Princess Peach outfit in like Nintendo. Give her, like, you know, something exclusive to Sony.
People don't want to add more clothes to Tifa.
Dude, like, honestly, there's a lot of people who would probably be like, "Oh my god, I get to dress her up as Princess Peach. I gotta do it." And you know how much fan art's gonna come out of that. Dude, you haven't
just
broken
like
the internet.
That sounds like a you thing, actually.
No, it's legit. It's you give them costume exclusives based on properties from a particular company. Like, if you're gonna go with Sony,
why not Samus's clothes?
That's fine.
Honestly, Zero Suit Tifa sounds interesting, but Peach is more iconic when it comes to, like, representing the brand. It's not about, like, you know, fan taste. It's about representing the brand, because that's kind of what you want to show off.
You just murdered that character right now. You killed her.
Definitely Zero Suit Tifa would be a fan favorite, not gonna lie, but, you know, Princess Peach technically is the more iconic character.
Tell me you didn't just see, like, Cloud dressed as Mario, Barrett as Luigi, Tifa as Peach, and Red 13 as Yoshi. Come on, it's awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, no. Let's just be honest here. Barrett would never be Luigi. Barrett would be Wario.
Okay, but we need a Luigi.
I can already imagine it. No, we could put Luigi there, but, you know, you could put Luigi somewhere else. But Barrett would be
Luigi,
Wario. Oh, there you go. But, you know, something like that. Something that doesn't change the game. You know, you can put the same stats on them just for fun. But none of this, like, oh, we're going to block it off, or, oh, we're going to give this a specific item that, you know, makes the whole experience different.
You still just murdered Tifa.
I think he created a monster in the internet. Like, people just imagining
again,
Peach as Tifa.
Again, like Rich just said, like, honestly, you haven't delved into the depths of the creativity of the internet to know what that could do. Like, I'm already imagining the fan art, and honestly, it is glorious and scary.
Yeah, like, whoever came up with Bowsette, or whatever her name is, like, whoever like came up with that is like a genius and a monster.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like the waifu crown, as I call it. Like, that led to so many things.
Yeah.
But, you know,
things I cannot unsee. Yep.
So now that we're with Square Enix, honestly, I don't know what Square Enix saw about Sony. Maybe they saw something big and long, and I'm talking about their bank account. Yeah,
Bank account? Yeah, all the zeros.
Square Enix has a game coming for the PS5. Another one of those random projects that they are now releasing. That's Project Athia.
It looked kind of weird.
Project Athia. Well, did I see that one?
And it was kind of weird.
Don't remember.
It was a female character. And I don't know.
Project Athena, right?
Oh, sorry. Did I read it wrong? I didn't think it had an N on it.
I thought it was Athia.
No, Project Athia. Project Athia. Yeah, you have it. Yeah, you were correct.
Yeah, it's looks like one of those odd, maybe it could be good, weird projects that Square Enix does and never follows up on. But I was really hoping to kind of maybe hear more about Final 16, which is not even being talked about at this point.
Yeah, well, it's not being talked about because there's rumors circulating that they're going to do the exact same thing they did for the remake for Final 16 and make it exclusive to PlayStation for at least a year.
It's official that the remake Part 2 will be released on PS5 and it will have that year advantage.
Oh no, yeah, but the remake was a contract. The remake was just a contract. All the chapters, quote unquote, for the remake will be coming to PlayStation first. Again, I'm not in favor of that, but like Final Fantasy 16, that would piss me off.
We'll see.
If the rumors are true, that would piss me off. Honestly, though, like it'll depend because if they stay with the gritty, like technology city kind of theme for Final Fantasy 16 like they did with Final Fantasy 15, I'll be pissed off, but not as much. But if they go back to like the fantasy element, like if Final Fantasy 16 is like this generation's Final Fantasy 9, where they go back to all the classics, all the classes, all that, that'll piss me off so much.
I can't wait a year.
I mean,
honestly,
I kind of like the whole futuristic vibe because...
No, I've hated it always.
Well, I mean, I think it's creative, basically. How can you bring a concept of sorcery and magic to a world that would seem like it wouldn't believe in that? And I think in that regard, it's creative. Like,
okay,
Final...
I really like 13.
That.
Like 13, I really liked, and it had that kind of mix.
But like, there's better ways to mix it, in my opinion. Like Final Fantasy 12 mixed it better, in my opinion.
I don't know. Final 12 still looked like a medieval type of game, though.
Yeah, but it had more technological advancement,
and it had bunny ladies.
Oh yeah, Vieras for the win. But and it's like they went like high fantasy through all the Final Fantasies up to 6. Again, 3 in the US, for the ones who don't know the whole numerical system for Final Fantasies. And then 7 started going more to technology, like the big cities and all that. 8 definitely went more technology. Then 9 was a pure fantasy back to it, which I loved. Then 10 was a really good mixture of the two. Like 10 is like, oh, here's the city, but hey, Sin kind of wrecked this joint, and then they went back into fantasy world. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. That's actually pretty cool. Like 10 had a great story that developed all that. And 12 still had good, but then 13 is like, okay,
entirely futuristic.
I like 13. Okay, so people didn't like 13. I never understood why.
We can make a whole episode about that.
I don't mind the hand holding. I think that's what people really disliked. I don't mind having like a straight line from beginning to end. For contrast, I liked 15, but I hated how open it was. Like, Mike, how many hours you had before you passed like chapter 1 or 2?
Easy.
Like you had close to 100, right?
Well, let's just say like when you get to the POTR, the point. Oh, sorry, I probably said that wrong. Point of no return, PONR.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably play the game for about 100 hours. Yeah.
I played that game for almost 100 hours, and I was about to get that point of no return, which I think it was like chapter 5 or something. It was really early too, and I just felt like if I passed this like point of no return, and I have not like done everything I could, I felt I was doing something wrong. So I started going and going and going, and I got bored. I just like quit the game. Like I wanted more story.
I have bad news for you. It's actually a bit later, and there were about double the same amount of quests that you already have done. At least the battles were hard. That was the only cool thing about it. It's not like this repetitive thing over and over and over and over again. I mean, it was, but at least when you get to the point where you actually got to whatever it is you had to kill, that was challenging.
Yeah, but honestly, that's just the style of gaming. Like, ask any player who plays Skyrim, any player who plays Fallout. You have a huge open world, and you're just like, here you go, have fun, go, shoot, do whatever you want.
And what I did on Fallout for like 4, I just played the story, I finished the story, and I moved on. I played my 100 hours, finishing the story the way I envisioned it. But I don't like the openness about it. Like, and I don't know if I'm just alone in this island or this boat, but I like an open game. But I want like a direction. I don't want a pure sandbox unless it's like a builder that I don't care about playing. Like I'll just turn on like 7 Days to Die every few months and build a house, build like a compound, then drop it for another 6 months.
No, I understand. It's just I don't know, like 13.2 Lightning Returns, all that. I just couldn't play it. 15, I have it and I want to play it. I just haven't had a chance to just sit down and play it. But 13, I really tried, but nope.
13 was one of my platinums. I just want to say that. Like, I had very few platinums back in PS3 days, and 13 was one of them. Like, I loved that game. I took as much as I could from that game. So I personally liked it.
That game had a hard platinum. You had to actually collect every item that exists in the game to get a platinum.
And I remember that the hardest part was at the end. What was the name of the monster? Was it like a Brachysaur or whatever?
The Adamantis.
That thing. Like, killing that was like a dance. You had to like do everything perfectly or he would one-shot you.
Yeah, I loved it because I could kill it in 1 minute and 18 seconds or less. That was fun.
Once you got the dance like to a T, it was amazing. It was like an awesome fight, and you had to do it so many times. I don't even remember why I had to kill that guy so many times.
Because
but I must have killed him like
they dropped
times.
The dark matter thingy that you needed to craft all the ultimate weapons. That's why.
Okay, I know I killed a lot of those.
Easy, you have to kill about 100, and they have about 10 million HP or something like that. But yes,
and they one-shot you.
Yes, like the first thing you had to do is master Triple Sentinel Paradigm Shift, so you could resist its attack, or else it would one-shot you automatically. But it was so fun that you get to a point where I literally had, like, you see like these people on the internet that have like this perfect way of killing it and just murdering it. I felt that I got to that point with that particular monster. It's like,
see, you guys are talking, all I hear is blah blah blah. I don't like it.
Well,
I personally like it. I thought the story was really
and I've beaten like the extra difficult mobs and all that in other Final Fantasies, but I don't know, like that whole thing sounds I'm good.
It had its thing. I personally did not like the linear thing. But going back to 15, it's like 15. There are two things I hated about 15. The the enormous amount of side quests were not exactly why I hated them. I hated them because every 5 freaking minutes you would hear, "They're here!" or "Look out!" Like you would get ambushed by those buttholes. Yeah. I admit it makes sense that obviously they want to murder you, so they will constantly fly their armies to kill you. I get it, but it's so freaking annoying. Like,
and it was so repetitive,
No, here's the thing though. Like, every now and then, a level 99 robot could show up and one-shot you.
Yeah, that robot was a pain. Like, that would just... You had to stop for him. Like, you had to turn around. Like, if he was on the road, like, you're screwed. You have to go around. There's no... You couldn't beat him.
But I absolutely loved the concept of don't go out at night. That was one of the games that warned you, and you should have paid attention.
Yep.
Do not go out at night.
But yeah, so let's steer the truck back on the road. Okay.
Well, speaking
exclusivity.
Speaking of exclusivity and vehicles, they are going to release a GT7.
Really?
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 7?
Yes. It looked amazing.
Gran Turismo's it's one of those games that I give it to like PlayStation. Like Forza is fun, but I always like, and I may be like a nostalgia thing. Gran Turismo is just that game for me. Like it's, if you want to play a racing game, like a simulator racing game, I always go with Gran Turismo over everything else.
See, I like their simulation, but I also like how it feels like you're playing Card-Camon. Because that's how I see it. You collect all the cars. And like I never played Gran Turismo until I got the 5th game. And I regret that I've never played the other ones. Because I got like all 1,000 cars in 5.
Oh no, yeah, my cousins, my cousin loved that game, and a bunch of my friends like back home loved that game, and they would just go nuts. See, like Gran Turismo is one of those games where you could do console exclusive content, no problem. You know, you just put like different versions of a particular style of car, a particular like brand of car, or a racetrack. Just put a track that is exclusive to the console.
I could be fine with that because there's no story. There's no real story in Gran Turismo. Like, sure, there's a track you'll never play, or there's like 50 cars in this one that you won't see in another one, but it's not like story content. Like
exactly.
where it bothers me is where story content.
Like I'll give you an example. Could you imagine a hyper realistic version of the Mushroom Kingdom as a track for the Switch? Not, like big mushrooms that look realistic, like all that stuff that just looks a little too real, but it would be the flavor for the Switch.
Are we still talking about Gran Turismo?
Yeah.
Because
with Rainbow Road.
Well, we're talking about mushrooms, gigantic mushrooms, a lot of colors, dressing up Tifa and Princess Peach's dress.
He's really stuck in Mario today.
Yeah, he is. Well, hey, Mario is one of the games that always made me think about the console, like the Nintendo console. Mm-hmm. Even if I never went back to it, but it's something that you could do. Or honestly, if you want to use another property, imagine a racetrack set in the open fields of Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
I would appreciate one in Final Fantasy XV's world. It actually is designed for having a car driven on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that could be for all consoles, because Final Fantasy 15 is in all consoles. I'm talking like exclusive, like an exclusive track, just based on a property that's exclusive to a console.
And what? Have a goat ram your car off a cliff?
Yeah.
Was there any game that really called your attention? Like, I was trying to make like my list. What would I like? Like
for Sony?
Yeah, for PlayStation.
No, honestly, no.
None. I was surprised at how uneventful this was. Like, I was really pumped with Xbox. Like, I wasn't even sure I would like all the anything from Xbox, but there were a lot of things that I looked at and I was like, oh yeah, this looks awesome. But honestly, the only one I really kind of liked was Horizon, and I'm hoping it's gonna be available for PC. Like, the Horizon 1 is in Steam now.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. Like, from the Sony exclusives, nothing really jumped to my mind. Honestly, the only thing that brought me nostalgia was Ratchet and Clank. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only game that I was like, oh, that'd be neat. Everything else, I'm like, well, that's cool and all, but you know, it might end up coming up for other consoles. Who knows? So honestly, yeah, I'd rather just wait.
Was there an Uncharted or a God of War I didn't see?
Nope.
Because
No.
that was critically missing. Like, you know, like Xbox started with a freaking Halo. Like, you hate it or you love it, but it's Xbox. They need a Halo for a new console. Like, I was waiting for, you know, like, where's the Uncharted or where's the God of War? I don't know, like, anything.
Well, God of War, if they're like God of War, if they're gonna release it, like, we know they're gonna release it. We know they're gonna release a new story, because the way the last God of War ended.
Spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. Spoilers if you haven't played this freaking game by now. If you haven't heard, boy,
Mm-hmm.
constantly. You know, the way they left it, it's, you know, something's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they're definitely going to do, another game. It's just, will they do it for launch, or will they wait it out and be like, hey, haha, we need a new weapon, because, you know, our sales are kind of slumping. New God of War game. Hey, guys, look at this.
But it's a missed opportunity. When you're hyping up your console, that's when you should at least tease it, you know? Even if it's not going to be a release game, but you tease it.
Honestly, no. Honestly, a game like God of War, that's something you save. That's your ace up your sleeve. If when you release your console, you see that the sales aren't going all that well, or, you know, it's not selling as much as you want, or Microsoft or Nintendo bring out something that, like, a property that captures everybody's attention, that's when you go like, hey, here's Kratos again, and people will be like, oh, wait, what? Kratos? Oh, hell yeah.
I am old school. Like, I would like my console to be, like, paired with something I am comfortable with, I am really hyped about. And I don't know, like, I was waiting for that, like, big hook from PlayStation, and I just didn't see it.
So, I mean, I'm the type of person that, number one, I really don't like adult themed games. And on top of that, I'm loyal to certain brands, like, not because of being a fan person, it's because I've appreciated the work they've done to entertain me in the past. Mm-hmm. And having said that, the only game that I would have to get the PS4 would actually be Gran Turismo. And that is bad, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just one game, and only because I would be loyal to the polyphony and their masterpiece of a game. That's it. Like, if it weren't for that, I feel that I could probably have waited for a PS5 until any Final Fantasy title, if it came exclusively to the PS5, which a lot of indicators say it will be exclusive to PS5.
But there were so many things that just pull me in from, like, the Xbox video. You know, like, even little things, like, yeah, they're gonna actually revamp. And I don't know if PlayStation did this. I was trying to find it, and if you guys have seen anything like this, but, you know, even little things like, okay, Sea of Thieves is gonna get, like, its graphics revamped for the new hardware, and, you know, little things like, oh yeah, Destiny 2 is getting revamped. They are definitely bringing a Halo. You can bank on that. Everwild, they didn't show any gameplay, but the intro was really nice. You know, like, and they showed all of these, like, big title companies coming out with all of what they're working on, and I just didn't feel that connection to the PlayStation, and I was trying to. I watched a bunch of videos, and like they were opening with the Miles Morales, the Spider-Man, and
Yeah.
I didn't even care that much for like the first Spider-Man. I know there's people who liked it, but I wouldn't have like put that as my big title, and that's what I felt like they were banking on the Miles Morales Spider-Man one.
But that's the thing. That's where it's going towards. It's like, oh, okay, so you like you have the presentation, you have everything, and it's still not generating the hype you want. That's why they're just pumping out the money for content exclusives.
It's
Or,
still
like,
still not looking
Timed
good.
exclusives.
Still not looking good because eventually, if that's gonna be your only self-defense mechanism, you're gonna run out of money, and you're gonna lose the power to do that. Like, to be fair, they are actually enhancing one game for the PS5, but get this, it happens to be expanded and enhanced GTA 5.
Meh.
See that's 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 the reaction that basically I had. It's like, oh, okay, more games where you promote senseless violence and drugs. Cool. Yeah.
See that kind of thing has never bothered me, honestly, when it comes to like the game, because in the grand scheme of things, it's a parent's job to make sure that the kids don't buy a game like GTA. But honestly, GTA is I mean, it's never appealed to me. There's a huge fan base for it. Huge fan base for it, and all power to them. But honestly, it's always been one of those games where it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried.
Even Ratchet and Clank seemed more appealing.
I just feel it was sad. Like I was going through the videos of the games, and I'm like, I don't know, like there's really nothing here that really appealed to me, and I don't know how many of the Xbox games were exclusives. I know some of them may have been, like, I don't know if like Hellblade 2 is like a time exclusive for Xbox or anything, but you know I've seen it and it looks really appealing. I don't know if it's coming for PlayStation. They didn't even promote it. So I don't know if there's this rule that if it's a multi-console, if the other console already showed it, you don't want to show it. But I felt like there were like, I don't know if Xbox came out first with a lot of their titles and PlayStation didn't just want to recycle some of it, but I felt they missed out. Like again, and you guys can correct me here. I don't know if Hellblade 2 is going to be an exclusive for Xbox, but it looked appealing. It looked awesome. And
no, I think Hellblade. I don't think Hellblade's going to be exclusive. I'm gonna have to double check on that.
And that's what I'm saying. If it's gonna be for PlayStation, you know, like if you're I would treat my like people are really tribal with consoles, right? Like it's almost like political parties, you know. Like if you are watching a PlayStation video, most probably you're not watching an Xbox video. So I would try to like hit hard, like come out with everything, like just the best of the best of what's gonna be released on.
But at the same time, they're only working with what they got.
Well, that's
like
what I'm saying. Then they're really far behind.
Yep. You cannot compare this lineup to the PS2 lineup on release.
But that's the thing. Like right now, it's not so much about like coming out strong. Right now, it's just trying to get a hook. Right now, they're just trying to hook people in.
Exactly.
And would they have done better with a better lineup? Of course. But at this point, consoles can't get much more advanced because right now technology limits them. It limits them because not only do you have to focus on the hardware, you have to focus on the price. Because if you're gonna say, this console will be $1,000, yeah, people will be like, oh wow, that's a lot, but hey, maybe. But then you can also be like, But for $1,000, I could get a PC with similar stats.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, you have to balance it out. You have to balance out the hardware. You have to balance out what you bring to the table. And at this point, they're just trying to get the consoles out just to try to hook people. Because if they wait they can't wait another year. These consoles have to come out for Christmas, for holiday. That's the whole point. That's the whole marketing point. Mm-hmm. So if they wait, they'll have to wait another year. And honestly, these companies don't want to.
They can't afford it. I mean, they can, but
But they'd rather not. They'd rather not. And right now, it's heaven help them. Right now, it's a prime market for consoles because a lot of people are stuck inside.
Yes,
and
that's what Nintendo really caught on really fast with Animal Crossing, and they banked big on that. But what I'm saying, if we go back to how tribal things are on the consoles right now, if you have any independents, going back to politics, if you have any independents who are just exploring and looking at random videos, if you're coming off really strong versus we're banking on the hardware is gonna bring people over, you're losing a lot of money before the games even are released, before the race even begins. You're already losing a lot of people, because I honestly have been spending hours just going through some PS5 content, and I'm so unimpressed and just not excited. I've watched just a couple of the Xbox reviews and premieres, and even the way they present it is so wow, it's really catchy. It's really, I felt I really want to buy an Xbox, and I didn't even think I was gonna say that, but I felt they totally hooked me in, and I think now is the time. If you wait till the holidays, it's gonna be too late, I think.
So now that we've gone over both consoles, it's safe to say that Nintendo is right. I mean, good at the place it's right now, even when 2 new consoles releasing. And
well, Nintendo's a whole other beast, because Nintendo long ago gave up on, I'm going to have a technological arms race with Sony and Xbox, and they just decided, nah, screw it. We're just going to bring out games that people like, that we know our fan base likes, and that are just fun. We'll try to be innovative with console. If it doesn't work, we'll just always have the games. And honestly, that's worked out great for them. But at the same time, their fan base is a very specific fan base. Their fan base necessarily isn't the fan base that would love a Fallout game, or that would love a FIFA game, or stuff like that. Their fan base is, they like certain types of games, and they like the franchises. They like the characters more than anything else.
It's a family console. I just came from visiting one of my cousins. They have no gamer life. They only have a Switch. It's him and his wife, they just play this as a couple thing. It's they can get a cute game or anything. It's more like a family thing. It's something you want to play with your wife, your kids. It's more like a.
And that's Nintendo's niche, and that's where they've banked on, and that's where they've gotten a ton of money for. Yeah, they've been criticized on one or two things. I mean, the Pokemon game the most recent Pokemon game had its controversy and all that. But at the end of the day, they know exactly who they're targeting, how they're targeting, and what games they're going to target with.
So you think they're going to...
price point. And with the price point, you would have multiples in a house. And, any parent of more than one kid will tell you, each kid needs their Switch. And
I can tell you each kid needs their Switch.
He's saying. Actually, yes.
I'm actually a witness. I remember when he started getting his own games, and I wanted to play, and I couldn't. It's you need your own Switch.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. Nintendo doesn't need to compete in the hardware section. They just need to always have a particular quality of game or style of game that their dedicated fan base likes.
Okay,
And
but here's kind of where my question is going. We said in the previous episode that you feel that Xbox finally has like its final dagger on Sony. Do you think Xbox has the same dagger on Nintendo?
Oh no, hell no.
Because I can have an Xbox and a Nintendo. They're different things altogether. Like they don't fight for territory.
And again, the people that play a lot of the staple Xbox games probably don't have any like the new stuff for Nintendo probably doesn't appeal to them. Even if there's nostalgia in there.
I would challenge that. I think that people will have their main console being Xbox or PlayStation, and they'll have the Switch for, party games. They may like Mario Party. They may
Honestly, I'll challenge you there as well, because if you want party games on Xbox or PlayStation, you get the Jackbox games.
And they're not the same. The Jackbox is really weird. It's for more adults.
No, exactly. There's a different demographic. Like, if you want to play Mario Party, yes, you can play Mario Party, and almost anybody of any age group can play Mario Party. And if you have a secondary console, which is your Switch, you can have that there. However, if you only like a certain kind of game, or if you don't see any games in Nintendo's lineup that really appeal to you because you have a PlayStation or Xbox equivalent, you have options on these other games that might suit your taste. Like, I personally, Mario Party, it's nice, but I never got into it. The Jackbox games, some of them are real messed up and real fun.
I don't know. The thing about Nintendo is, though, if there's a game that releases on all three consoles because it's not like technologically advanced, all they care was about the gameplay, I would rather get the game for Switch. That's
what I've been telling everybody. Oh my god, I can't believe you said that.
There's nothing 100%. That beats taking that toast out of the toaster and continuing. Nothing beats that.
You can go to the bathroom with your Switch.
Yes.
There. It's glorious. You can put it on pause, drive anywhere, and while you're in the line at the DMV, take out your Switch and play and continue exactly where you were. That's amazing.
Yeah, but again, how many of those games are there that are in all three consoles that you can do that?
There's enough. It's like
there's not a lot. No, there's not a lot. There's a
lot, especially after the last batch. Switch now has all the BioShocks. There's Diablo. There's Dragon Quest.
Now.
They don't have to release at the same time.
Yeah, but it matters to some people. And honestly, the hardware of the Switch limits it to a point where they have to change the game, and not every game can function on it. Not every game will work on it. And that's where all the exclusive comes in, and that's sometimes the deciding factor. I'm not saying it's not good, because like you said, it's pretty cool to be like, oh, I want to play Diablo 3. And I'm waiting at the airport. Well, not anymore at the airport, but back in the day before this. It's like, let me get this out, play a bit, save, get on the plane, play a bit, stuff like that. And it is pretty cool, but it is not, it doesn't target a huge demographic. Nintendo is good at taking bits and pieces from every demographic and putting it all on their console, and it appeals. And like you said, it's sometimes the secondary console of a lot of people.
Yep.
But there's still a very, very large portion of the gaming demographic that is exclusively just one dedicated hardcore console, and that's where, like you said, we have the political party version of gaming. Either you're full Xbox or you're full Sony. And it used to be when you could have both, because the prices weren't that high, but now they've gotten to a point where you have to pick one. And if you have to pick one, you have to offer them something much better. And at this point, Microsoft is winning, unfortunately, for any PlayStation fans. Not dissing anything there, but Microsoft is winning, especially with the Game Pass.
Yep. And they're being so aggressive on that. Like, so many of like the Xbox exclusives are gonna be on Game Pass, and that's just icing on the cake at this point. You know, like they're pushing this really hard, and you gotta love it. Like as a gamer who has been annoyed at having to pay $100 per game, paying $10 and actually getting good games and content is just amazing. I don't know, like, and I have a friend who is like a hardcore PS fan, and he says, oh, you know, the PlayStation Network games are like better, they have more of the stuff I play, but I don't know how far that's gonna go. You know, like the Game Pass is just expanding so fast, and it's like really high quality, like really famous games are coming in, and you know, like
because it's a very smart strategy from Microsoft. It's like we need you to have Xbox Gold if you want to play like online games and all that. Okay, so we're gonna sweeten the pot. If you get this whole combined thing, Game Pass, PC Game Pass, and Xbox Gold is one price, you get it for like a year, you don't have to worry about it, and we give you a ton of exclusive content. And like you said, a lot of gamers can't afford to pay $60 a pop for a game that they don't know if they're gonna like or not. Because that's the other problem. It's like you see a game, it's like, oh wow, trailer looks great, and then you play and you're like, nope, not for me. In the old days, that was $60 down the drain, and you take it to GameStop and they give you $3 for it.
3.
Yeah.
It's like, oh hey, yeah, this game that just came out, I'll give you $4 for it, and then resell it for $5 off the market price.
Or sometimes at the same price.
Yeah, exactly. Depend how well you treated it. If it looked new, yeah, they probably just slip it into a little sleeve and be like, oh no, yeah, it's new. This is just a display box. Yep. BS.
Yeah. Yep. I remember those days. How much these 8 games will get me? $10.
Yeah, $10. Oh, great.
At least I got rid of a lot of mess. That was such a horrible model.
Yeah, that's kind of why they're in trouble now. But that's a subject for a whole other episode, if anything. But honestly, the only issue I have, and we can leave this for another episode. While I do love the Game Pass, I do love the idea of doing that. I don't like the idea of digital only models, which is kind of where a lot of these games are leaning towards now.
Yeah,
a lot of these consoles.
And
again, this could be a whole other episode, but I love the idea of the Game Pass, but I also love the idea that if I wanted the physical copy of a game, I could just still go out and buy it and have it with me.
I prefer. I've gone completely digital. Like I've been buying bigger cards for my Switch every time. Like I'm at 512 right now, 512 gigs. But the only reason I would want a physical copy is if I want to lend it or sell it. If that could be possible with like an online purchase, I would have no complaints. Because I hate having to like change a game.
No, yeah, like I get it, and again, we'll bottle this up for another topic for another episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so exclusivity wise, I'm honestly, of the 2 quote unquote larger consoles, again quote unquote, Microsoft definitely is winning, and Sony, this whole thing about timed exclusive content, all that is like,
It's gonna come back to bite them. It's gonna come back to bite them.
Like honestly, I don't like it. It puts me off to the console, so I imagine it would put a lot of other people off. If you want to have like totally exclusive games, go for it. That's why you used to have mascots. That's why you used to have like other properties. But just banking on a very popular property and being like, oh, we're just gonna have it early. So like if you want to play it this year, you have to get it through us. I don't like that. There's other ways that you can do exclusive content that'll be better, more unique, and could actually be more appealing to gamers.
Yeah, like actually making good games.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm one of the few people that can call the Switch my primary console and not my side console. I
like Switch a lot.
I rarely use the PS4. People are like, your PS4 is a Roku now. Yeah, it is a very expensive Roku.
Yeah, I prefer anything on Switch, to be honest, and I
that's a whole other thing. Like the consoles themselves are also multimedia platforms.
Yep.
Like it's a joke, but at the same time, that is one advantage that they have, that they are quite literally a multimedia console.
But if you want a multimedia device and just that, you can just go buy a Roku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but will a Roku play games?
No, I mean, like I said, if you just want a multimedia device.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like the consoles themselves serve multiple functions. Like they serve multiple functions, and that's slowly becoming another integral part of what they are. I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox One X and PlayStation 5 will start leaning more towards VR as we progress in their lifetime.
They tried. That was tried, and it failed miserably.
Yeah, but it was tried when technology wasn't as good. Right now, VR tech is much better, much cheaper to get actually, and much more polished. The only problem is you need a dedicated PC for it. But if you can get a better version of it, like right now for PlayStation 4, like they push PSVR quite a lot, and I have friends who love it. Hell, there's people who are drooling for the next Star Wars game, the Squadrons game, because with the VR it'll be supported and it'll feel like you're in the cockpit.
Let me be honest. I think a VR environment is a double-edged sword. Imagine Resident Evil VR. It's like, do you want your customers to die like mid-game or something with a heart attack?
Hey, some people
loved it.
Some people would dig that. Some people would dig. Like, have you seen YouTubers playing games like in VR, like actual horror games in VR? It's beautiful. It warms the cockles of my heart.
My opinion is that VR should be only for PORN.
Nah, dude. Like, honestly, I foresee the this generation of consoles coming up, that maybe instead of doing like the next console after this one that's coming up, they'll just beef it up to be for VR support, for like full VR support.
I still have to have a good VR
I'm gonna reserve my opinion until I try something like more than 5 minutes, because the only thing I played VR is Minecraft.
Oh God,
that's the end of the sentence.
No, but again, like a game that is pretty much made for it will be Squadrons, like Star Wars Squadrons,
or Gran Turismo, to be honest. Something
or
that
Gran
you're
Turismo.
Just sitting.
Yeah.
If you're
Gran
just
Turismo,
sitting and not moving, that's like beautiful VR.
Yeah, Gran Turismo, you're already like limited to like a particular point of view, which works perfectly for VR. And also like other games, even if you have to move, even if it's not fully immersive VR, we're decades away, I think, from fully immersive VR. But even still, there are games that work. There's Skyrim VR, and there's people that love it. And you can do horror games in VR, and like you said, make people have a heart attack. But I think that'll be the next step for the consoles.
The dog scene in VR. The dog scene in VR. No.
That would be priceless, especially if you have a really good headset. Oh God.
No. You're gonna open
I
this
don't know
door.
if VR, like we can actually do this another episode. I don't know where consoles are going. Like VR, I don't know. I always go back to the Virtual Boy. Like they've been trying this for a very long time, and it's never really worked.
Okay, let's end the episode with this. The Virtual Boy was an attempt at lasering your eyes to death.
Pretty much.
Like, I put that thing... You know what? I've always been wondering, how did I suddenly get myopic when I was a kid? Because I could see well, and then, like, weeks later, I couldn't see. Maybe that was that one day I laid eyes on the Virtual Boy.
I think it was all the nights I spent playing Game Boy with like a little light in that dark room. That may have contributed too.
No, I think I got, like, my retinas burned by that thing.
But again, like that could be a subject for a whole other episode.
Yep.
All right, so this is going to be the end of episode 11. I didn't have to go find out what episode was this time. We hope you enjoy. We're going to keep making content. Me and Dex are about to put out the review of the last One Piece manga. That was actually a good episode, side episode. It was fun, and we plan on doing it again, but the problem is that Oda is not making enough content for us to do it again for now.
For now, yeah, but that works for us while we get our bearings.
Don't die, Oda. We really wish you well.
If Oda were to die, you would suddenly see a spike in Google searches: how to go to the underworld, how to bring back a soul, like can I exchange a soul from one person to another? Just to bring him back.
And we're gonna keep doing that. Maybe some side casts and whatever. I'm thinking about buying a hardware device to stream Paper Mario. I haven't played it yet.
I've been playing it. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Like I already finished the first world. It's okay. The fighting system sucks.
I'm still pissed off that Paper Mario replaced Mario RPG, so I'm not gonna comment on that.
So I don't know. We're gonna continue to push out content. We have a Patreon. We are known as Geeks and Gripes, all words, no abbreviations, and you can use that to find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as well. Please support us. We would like this to be turned into some sort of income at some point of our lives.
I don't know, honestly, I'm just having fun for now.
Yeah, it is. So, enjoy. We will keep pushing out. By now, I think we should be hearing the theme music. So, stay safe, stay alive, and we hope to hear or see you again in the next video/audio. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good one. Stay safe out there.
Later.
Bye.
Sad.